What's happening, everybody? Stone here from Seamoon Effects, and sitting next to me is Seamoon artist and my friend Amado Ventura from the band SUMO. What's happening, brother? How you doing, man?
Good, you, man?
Good to see you.
Likewise.
It's been, I'm trying to think, when was the last time we saw each other? It's about a month ago? I think
it
when...
feels like a month or two ago.
Yeah, and I remember you came to the office and we showed you something that we're now able to tell the world about. That thing.
The thing that we could not
That thing that we could not speak of. We're now able to tell the world about. But beforehand, I wanna get a little background. You and I've known each other, we've known each other, what, like 3 years? More? 4 years? Yeah, that's because I've been with Seamoon 3, so yeah, it's going on 4.
Yeah.
Amado actually came into a store that I was working at in the past and came in with all the intention in the world on buying one specific instrument and ended up leaving with a completely different one. Same instrument, but utterly completely different look.
Yeah. You started you got my foot in the door with Dingwall, so I can say that.
Yep.
And I went in there with
you wanted
not
the
that.
Yeah, you were not gonna buy that bass.
It's too flashy for me. Like I typically don't do stuff like that.
Yep.
Saying that now, and yeah, you were like, here, play this one. No, play this one. Okay, now play this one. And the one that I was avoiding the entire time is the one that you're like, okay, just here, just try it. Here.
Just try it.
And you remember, I mean, we made a video about it.
Yep.
You passed it, I played it, and I was like, shit.
Yeah, he wasn't very happy at all, because he was like, why does it have to be this one? And you left that day with it.
Yeah, I left with it. Yeah, I left with it. It's the aquamarine sparkle metal flake beast.
That thing, that's blinding too. On stage lights, that thing is blinding.
And it looks amazing. But yeah, my custom is the really flat with a little bit of copper in it. But I have you to thank for that.
Yeah, well, I'm good for that. I'm good. So when you were growing up, what was it that drew you to want to be a bass player?
So I started on upright.
Okay.
And I started playing in end of '86. So I was 7 years old. My grandfather got me into it. It was the instrument that was available.
Okay.
And he had a certain friend who I took lessons from, but it was a baby bass.
Okay.
So I didn't have my own upright until probably like a year or so after that. And then I had a hard time reaching it because
they're not the smallest instruments.
I was a kid.
Yep.
Yeah. But it worked, and I was on upright for probably like 3 or 4 years. Then I had a skateboarding accident, and all of my neighbors also knew that I played bass, and I could play. My older neighbors.
Right.
And so I got recruited for hardcore bands.
Okay.
And I started playing electric, based on first of all the injury, because I had a hard time. I recovered from that after a while, but I transitioned off to electric from that point because of that, because I was the kid that could play.
Right.
So
you understood the basics of what the instrument was.
Yeah, and it was just a support thing.
Okay.
We just had a really good music teacher when I was a kid, and I applied that afterwards. And then me trying to be slick in school, taking band,
so you could get out of taking any of the other.
Yeah, and then joke's on me, they put me on drums.
I can see like a young Amado just beating the crap out of some high school drum set.
Yeah, and it got to the point where they were like, just stop coming, please. So it worked out. But their upright bass was destroyed.
Okay.
And it wasn't until they were like, well, you can bring yours. I was like, yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop the scam and just.
Yep.
So
just go.
Yeah.
Well, we definitely have to give a shout out to all of the school music teachers. You guys don't get enough credit. I had a music teacher when I was growing up. Unfortunately, he passed away a couple years ago, but thanks to the beauty of social media, we were able to reconnect, and I was able to tell him, now in my life and in my career, just how important he was to me.
Right.
And, my son has a really great music teacher, but that was my escape when I was in school. Was I would go to the music room, and we ironically had a stand-up bass there, and I would go up there and play. So it's cool that you had kind of the same experience as far as the music school part is concerned,
Yeah, thankfully the funding and all of that stuff, at least in the early '80s, was still available.
Still there, yeah.
And people actually cared.
Yeah.
So we had a great teacher, and myself and my sisters, like we all learned how to read music at a very young age, because of people like her.
Yeah.
That to me that's important to have still, So.
Well, and I think it's very true. I think a lot of us probably wouldn't have finished school or wouldn't have gone as frequently if there wasn't that one teacher.
I agree.
You know, that music teacher that you didn't want to disappoint, and you wanted to go because what you were learning was cool and it was something that you were passionate about. So yeah, again, I don't think that they get quite enough credit. So all right, so you start out on stand up.
Yeah.
You go into punk bass, you know, and hardcore and stuff. At what point did you start wondering about different effects? Was there a particular song or a particular band or somebody that used effects on bass and made you go, that's cool, how are they doing that?
You see, that part's interesting too, because the first setup that I had as far as like amp wise and effects go, it was a Portaflex that exploded on me.
Not supposed to do that.
No, they weren't. And I mean, now today, like that thing would have been worth I don't know how much, but nobody wanted to fix it, and it was burnt. But it led to my first real setup. This is probably like '95, where I started playing with SWR, and I got a basic, the 350, and a Henry 8x8, and
those things were massive.
Oh, but they were great. They were just the right size. And I mean the articulation, the note weight, like everything that I was just like, oh my God, this is everything that I've been listening to and like absorbing.
Hearing and
So there were a few bands that I was playing with back then. One of the guys that I was playing with, he gave me a tube screamer.
Okay.
And it just thinned everything out so much.
You lose all your low end.
Yeah, so it was always oh man, how do I adjust this? And at that time, I think it was the Interstellar Overdrive that SWR made.
Okay.
It was a rack space thing. That was a whole other thing that was just like, I'm not into that sound. So I started experimenting with a bunch of other stuff, old muffs.
Some reason that
modded muffs,
and that sound is something that people start out with.
Right. So that's really what did it. I got a modded muff from this guy locally. His name is Charlie. He had like a shop way out in like South Miami. It had what the current muff that I still have on my board has, which is half wet, half dry.
Okay.
And there's no real way of controlling that. It's just straight up 50-50.
It's just there, right.
And that was like, oh, that's what I've been trying to get. But the stuff, the inspiration behind that, probably, I mean, it goes even back before when I was younger, and it was probably like listening to Faith No More and like the way that Billy Gould would play.
Yeah.
And I think it's like the end of the real thing, when the song fades out and it swells back up, and there's this whole like just wave of
just noise.
And I was like, I want to do that.
Yep. Well, and
I want to add that to my arsenal.
Didn't he kind of do it originally? Wasn't that just like torn speakers, kind of the old Kinks kind of trick?
Which you later find out.
Yeah.
So that was an inspiration for that, but with the majority of the bands that I was playing in, and the band that I ended up playing with Chris later on in the mid '90s, it really was just an overdrive, a very light, little bit of overdrive, or on the amp itself, overdriving the just a tiny bit, and the SWR stuff did it really, really well. It wasn't until SUMO, when we went from the previous band to that, and it started as it's just always going to be a three-piece, and we kind of came up with a convention as far as like what our roles would be within what we were doing. They're always going to be expanding, but it was always going to be limited to 3 people.
Okay.
We started kind of building on that as, well, how can we make 3 people sound like 4? And that went from, well, how can we make 3 people sound like 4, but 5 people?
Right.
And so on, and it just, the layers just started to add up, and our boards
your board.
Something like this to, well, I mean, you've seen it now. I have a Terra. The Terra 42.
How long end to end? Do you know?
I think it really is supposed to be 42 inches, but I think it might be more.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain that I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's
and
in 2 cases.
It's 1 case.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's
why?
It's a flight case. It's one big flight case. People think.
Or a coffin. I mean, you could easily
I tell people
hide
that
someone.
I tell people that it's a keyboard. And,
it looks like it.
You know what the cool thing about it is? My covers for my cabs fit in it. So once the pedal board comes out,
you just
I take the covers for the cabs to throw them in the case, and everything kind of just. I learned that on tour.
It helps. And actually, what you were talking about, SUMO, was a great lead into the next question. So, For anybody who's watching right now or listening, Amado is the bass player for a South Florida band called SUMO. And
Yep.
I don't really know how to explain, if you haven't heard SUMO, ambient. I mean, you know, you guys are in the hard rock metal realm, but you're not a hard rock or a metal band. And
No.
you're in the ambient realm, but you're not an ambient band. You're a combination of a lot of different things. So the question leading to that is, when you guys are writing songs, when you're working on a bass part, as you're working on the bass part, do you hear an effect in your head as you're thinking about what it is that you're going to play? Or do you get the progression and the notes down, like, okay, this is what I'm going to play, and then, you know, figure out, okay, let's try it out, let's see how it sounds with this, let's see how it sounds with that. What's the process? Because you do use a lot of effects in the songs, almost every song, I think.
Yeah.
So is that a conscious thought going into the writing process, or is that after?
Both.
Okay.
So like a specific one, I'm not going to say the real name of it yet, but when we have preview songs of certain things that we're doing, we'll call it a SETI song.
Okay.
So on the second record, one of the SETIs became Ipcris.
Okay.
And I'll leave out the convention as to how we get to that point, but they're basically condensed portions of a bigger song that'll eventually come.
Right.
And so SETI 3, which is
from 2, right?
from
three?
This is from 3. Yeah.
Okay.
Also, we have a naming convention for our records, which we go in numerical order.
Yeah.
For now, the third record, 3.
That's one more than 2. For everybody who's wondering.
Yeah, but less than 4.
But less than 4. Yeah.
That record, what ended up happening is the SETI that's in there, that ties together the songs between Ipcris and I think it was
Spacing?
No, it's not. No, yeah. The way that it's set up and the way that I have it because of where it is in the real song, both of those things happened. It was the Octatron.
Okay. Which is right here, by the way.
Here.
Right there.
And I was basically goofing around with it and trying to make it as gritty as possible, but not as farty.
Okay.
And then when I got it to the grit that I wanted it, I was like, there's something else that needs to go underneath it. And I added the Trickfish Overdrive. And that became the what most people think it's a synth.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of parts in your songs where if somebody doesn't know that you guys are a 3-piece and you don't have a synth player in there, between the guitar part and the bass part, there's a lot of parts where it really does sound like another instrument other than what it is that you're playing.
Yeah, and that's the point. That's I mean, you still get the fundamental of what we're doing out of each instrument, but the Octatron inspired that. And then once I laid that down and I had that kind of loop in my head, the timing of it kind of just evolved on its own. And there's another portion of it that then I transposed on that part, which is the grind machine.
Which ironically is right there. How about that?
So that song is actually 2 different bass lines.
Okay, yeah.
And the lead line that runs over the Octatron portion is the grind machine.
Okay.
But the grind machine in this very grossed out, I don't know what to call it.
Just gnarly.
Yeah, I took a picture of the setting in the studio because I wasn't going to be using that. And then in the studio it occurred to me, if I did keep this, I would want a second grind machine, but I would want to add something else to kind of like beef it up because of how disgusting it sounded. Lo and behold.
Okay.
And then in other times, I'll just have something that I lay out in a foundation. We play it. We'll start to live in the song, and then out of nowhere, I'm like, maybe it just needs this.
Whatever.
And that's happened too, and that happened with the Sky Machine.
Okay.
And the Sky Machine, you guys, when I got it, came at just the perfect moment.
That was right when you got your fretless too, wasn't it? Right around that same time? Was it before? Okay.
Yeah, the fretless was supposed to arrive around the same time, and I got the Sky Machine first, and I incorporated right into what we were doing. So there is, and just the most subtle levels of it. And so yeah, it's both. I haven't had a moment where I'm like, this specific effect, I need to.
It needs to be incorporated into this song.
Yeah,
right.
Or the other way around, where like, oh, something that it's missing here. I need to find something for it. It happens naturally. This to me is a palette. Like, that's the way that I look at it.
Different colors.
How many colors do I want to use? Do I want to keep it basic with like the standard Crayola of like 8?
Yeah.
or do I want to go like
with the 64.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I'm pretty sure you even do have a sharpener on the side of your pedal board.
Oh yeah.
You probably do,
definitely.
more than likely.
Yeah. So that's the way that my approach has been so far.
It's weird. There's certain songs and certain bass parts that you hear and you instantly go, it needs this or it needs that, and you know kind of going into it that that's what you're going to do. And then there's times when, you know, just random awesomeness happens and you'll hit the wrong pedal and go, oh, wait a minute, that sounds really good. I wasn't expecting that, but that sounds really good.
Absolutely. Yeah, the last record, you can, and especially when we play live, you can hear when the grind machine is on for all the songs. When we dump out of where I'm using the grind machine, it really does feel like the air is going with everything.
Right.
And just refilling. It is a little tidal wave like effect. I've seen the reactions in people when they're like, oh, what'd he do?
Yeah,
and
where'd it go?
It's like, well, I just turned it off. And that's my clean sound.
Yeah.
Because it's never fully clean. There's always, the VCA is always running. The other part is that I do run my setup as 2 split complete different channels, which is another thing that we're gonna talk about is how I'm gonna use them more. Once that gets turned off and you notice it,
it's dramatic.
It's a very dramatic, very dramatic, and when it kicks back in, it
sounds right again.
Right.
Yeah.
It is like it's almost like a flash.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of like turning the lights on in the room. You can see everything.
Yeah.
So obviously you were Seamoon artist. We're very proud of that.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We introduced you to the products 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, give or take. You know, when you were first introduced to the line, I believe it was the grind machine.
Yeah.
It was either the grind machine or the Octatron that was the first one that you were really kind of interested in when we talked.
Yeah.
But when you were introduced to the line, what was it about the Seamoon setups that you were like, okay, yes, here's where I can use it, and this is different from what I have, or this is different from what else I've heard, and this is how and where I can use it?
So the voicings, I think, are for me the most important thing, and they're actually they're fairly versatile. Like, it's not just limited. What I like to do though is when I do find the setting, I will lock it into that, and it becomes almost you know, as like a part of my board.
Right.
I won't tape stuff down. I don't epoxy stuff into place. I don't cover anything so people can't see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm not a gatekeeper. So I've had this.
You want the sound, there it is.
Yeah, the sound is there. And I've had this happen where people come up after the show and they're like, "What the hell is this? And how are you doing this?" And it's like, I have to like load up my stuff.
Yeah,
but follow me and we'll talk.
That's not a quick conversation at all.
But it is amazing, like the amount of people that are curious about that stuff, and I'll discuss it. Once it is done, set and forget, awesome. Studio time is very different because what sounds great live sometimes does not translate fully into the studio, but the reference is there. I am a little OCD. About documenting my settings and making sure that they're
especially you come up with something really cool,
right?
You know,
so I'll always go back to it as a reference. Well, nothing is set in stone when we're in the studio, goof around, but once everything is done, everything goes back to as it was.
Right.
The grind machine now has become my go-to, like straight up
your tone.
Overdrive. Yeah,
right.
That is my grit tone now. That is it. But like I mentioned when we were doing SETI, I came up with this
just gnarly,
just disgusting, blazing, like it sounds like a buzzsaw.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, that'd be really cool to go back to that and then add the beef to it. Is it efficient? Probably not to have 2 of the same. But if I can do it, I can do it, and I will do it. And it's nice to have it like ready to go.
And not have to worry about turning the knobs and getting it back to that setting and then going back.
Exactly.
So.
But if I did, I mean, I have found a way that I can get a similar setup just by switching through the modes, the modes and stuff.
Yeah.
And it works really well for that too. That said, live, once that train departs, Chris and I go into autopilot mode pretty much, and it kind of becomes a thing of like, I don't want to screw around with things. I know that my cue is here, tap this, ready to go, and it becomes very choreographed.
With the time changes and the complexity of sumo songs, I wouldn't want to be distracted by having to do anything else. I've seen you guys live. You guys are phenomenal live. With what you guys do, I couldn't exactly see you sustaining a note and turning, bending
No,
down
it's not gonna happen.
and doing. But with the grind machine, I think for me personally, that's one of the coolest things about it. It's not a muff. It's not a tube screamer.
No.
It's not a dark glass thing. It's everything you need it to be. And
Right.
you can go everywhere from that, classic 70s kind of overdriven tone to something that's on the cusp of being unusable because
Right.
it's just so ridiculously gnarly.
Yeah.
But through it all, you don't lose your low end.
No,
and
the
for a
foundation's
bass
there.
drive, that's priceless. I'm a 5-string player. You, ironically, are a 4-string player,
Yep.
which is a little mind-blowing considering what you do. But
Yeah.
to keep that low end underneath everything and still have this gnarly, crazy drive going is one of the things that I love about the grind machine. I was like, that's really, really, really cool.
Yeah, same. I remember because you sent me some teaser videos when you were like, hey, you're coming up next week. Hey, check this out.
You might be interested in that one.
And it's like, dude, this sounds so good, and I'm listening to it on a phone.
And the trippiest part for me about the grind machine is it's a sound that you're familiar with, but at the same time you haven't heard it before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's a bass overdrive, bass distortion.
Yeah.
We know in its simplest form, we know what that is, but the grind machine is its own thing.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree, and I can't wait to pair that up with the more.
So speaking of the Moors, so Amado, as we've said, Amado's been to the warehouse a couple times. A few times, and he actually got to come about a month and a half ago, maybe a little bit longer, and he saw the Moor pedal actually in its infancy. The first one you saw was the white one, which was the prototype. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, nobody's ever going to see it. That was just proof of concept.
Yeah.
So
that first one was that was like, oh, there's another one.
Yeah.
And it's got a
giant knob on it. So when you first heard the Moor pedal, now for anybody who doesn't know, again, and I highly recommend you go and check out SUMO. Amado plays Dingwalls primarily, plays extended scale basses.
Yep.
With the Moor, when you first heard it and when you first saw it, obviously this is it. It's one knob and a switch. What was the first thought that went through your mind about that particular pedal in the constructs of your sound and of what SUMO does?
Well, the first thing we did talk about this was, that thing we were doing when we were goofing around with the sub became its own thing. Because it was that good that belonged in like its own housing.
Yep.
I don't know like what the timeline was.
It was great because I remember we had gotten you an Octatron and you commented, you were like, dude, the sub control is
really cool. It's actually
cool.
really cool.
Even just that on its own.
Yeah.
Now, the Moor is different from it.
Yeah, it is.
But
it is.
It's in the same, that's an easy way to say to people, what does the Moor pedal do? That's kind of an easy way to give them a general idea. Unlike the sub control, you don't lose any of the high end when you go up higher. You don't lose the presence in your D and your G string and stuff like that. I know when you first plugged in and turned the Moor pedal on, I know you hit a couple notes, and I think for one of the first times in the multiple years that I've known you, you looked at me and you didn't know what to say.
Right.
You were just like, what just happened?
Well, because it was a combination of what we were playing through. Because I think we were using one of the practice amps.
I think so. Yeah, it was a little one. Yeah,
it was a tiny little practice amp, and it was like, how is that coming out of that? Yeah, I want to say it was like a small 10-inch speaker, and it was just okay, I see what this is doing, and then we were started playing around with it, and I found the sweet spot that was like, okay, this kind of makes sense. This is really adding a whole other level of versatility to
everything.
That little combo amp. Like it was just like, what's going on? And then again, when we disengaged it, it was such an obvious vacuum that it was just like, okay, it sounds like I'm playing a cardboard tin bass again. That was weird. The little amp, in what it is, it didn't sound bad. You knew exactly what you were getting out of it. It sounded exactly like it was supposed to sound. And then you put the Moor on, and it's like,
well, wait a minute, am I playing through a little practice amp,
Right.
or am I playing through something much bigger,
Right.
moving a lot more air, you know?
And then I think it was it the second time or the third time that I went up, you had that like a gladiator style, like different.
Oh yeah, we had it. That was when we had it going through just the powered speakers.
Yeah, the death match.
Yeah, it was kind of like a cage match.
It was.
There. Yeah, it really was.
And it's like, all right, now watch this. Now what's this one?
Yep.
And I'm like, shit. It's that one. It's this one. And each one, so the solid state, the tube amp, the Aguilar, it added its own personality, and it was just like, this is insane to think that for something like that you would think someone would have to stop what they're doing, either have a separate rack mount or some sort of quick setting switch, or a whole other level of EQ that just does that. You don't need to have the EQ now because it's just on one knob.
Yeah, literally.
And you get right to it, and that's it.
I remember you and I also, we were going with the more before pedals and the more after
so
pedals.
that was
and
dramatic.
the different ways that it can be run, especially with the modulation going into the Sky Machine and,
That was
and
weird.
stuff like that. And just the different ways that it affected your overall tone.
Right.
So I know obviously you now have your two grind machines. You've got your Octatron, you've got your Sky Machine. And as a matter of fact, I can actually present this. Here we go. Just, make it all nice and official and everything.
This whole time I thought that was just a...
No. So this, on behalf of Seamoon Effects, is yours, my friend.
Thanks, dude.
So there you go. That's yours. Now, we've talked, you and I, in depth, and how excited you were to get that.
Yeah.
Because you have something very specific in mind as to what you want to do with it. So if you would please tell the good people out there.
So I've got some experiments planned for this thing. Yeah, I am a trickfish artist as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
They make amazing
They're great
stuff.
guys.
They are phenomenal people. It's a 3,000 watt head, two completely split channels, two different amps. The first experiment that I'm going to run with the more is going to be paired up with the grind machine specifically, but on the first channel, and then that'll get sent out into a completely different EQ setting for the second channel.
Okay.
Because I run, one side is the lows and low mids, and the other side are the mids highs with the sub running underneath it.
Okay.
So the other experiment is going to happen is it's going to go into channel 2.
Okay.
Where the sub usually runs.
Right.
I'm going to see what happens if I run this all the time
on that channel.
On that channel. So it's kind of like a two-part experiment, whichever kind of works. I don't want to.
So more than likely, he's going to call me in a week and be like, "Hey, man, could you send me another one?"
I mean, yeah, maybe.
It's going to happen. I know
maybe.
it already.
I really do think that the limited aspect of it, of putting it on the second channel and letting it breathe on its own and having like a supplement to the others, I think it'd be too much to put it on the side that's already running the lows.
It could be, yeah.
At least from the time that we experimented on it.
Right. Well, and you didn't have your rig.
My rig,
your rig wasn't there, so that's a completely different animal.
In my head, this is what I think will work best.
Right.
But I want to try both, and if something else comes up, like I'll experiment with that too. But definitely the placement was so important that I also want to put it before and after the two different grind machines and see, like, is it really behaving more of like a filter for it? Is it an enhancement?
For a pedal that has one knob and one switch, and all the switches is more. It really is a trip as to what all you can do with it. It does what it does, and that's what it does, and it doesn't do anything else.
Yeah.
But the variables within that giant knob are kind of endless. The fact that we are at the power station down here in South Florida, we did some recording with it earlier, and that's also going to be coming out, and hearing it with different styles of playing, and hearing it with, a 5-string and with a lower note. And that was another thing for me personally. A lot of effects that kind of try to add more sub-low or whatever to your bass tone, on a 5-string, it just kind of farts out. It just doesn't really work. And that, almost wherever you have it set, it still maintains the tightness of a B string without it farting out, which I think is super, super cool. You guys typically tune standard, right?
No.
Okay, so what do you guys use?
So I've played both types. My standard stuff is all tuned to D standard.
Okay.
So in SUMO I play in D standard, but my SP1, that's tuned in E standard.
Okay.
And was goofing around with that one too. The second
time, when you brought it in.
The fretless behaves very differently with that. I'm actually curious to hear what it's going to do, if there's going to be like some kind of like upright emulation almost.
It does add a little bit of that, I say air. Like for me, a big part of the way I use it is with in-ears.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the speakers behind you. You lose that air, and running it that way, it does kind of give that, big giant 215 feeling behind your playing. So with the fretless, I could see it taking a solid body instrument and opening it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually really curious to experiment with that on its own, because there are a lot of fretless songs for the next record.
Which is coming out.
I am not going to even dare give it a timeline. So, probably sometime next year, so 2027.
Okay, so we'll have to keep listening to that.
There are some more things that are going to be coming out this year. But
go ahead. You got the audience. If you can tell them.
Well, we are going to be going on tour. We're going to be going on tour end of July into August. We'll be going on the road with Lungburner.
Very cool.
Then there's some other stuff happening in October, November, but we haven't gotten the official green light to talk about it yet.
So if you told me you'd have to kill me kind of thing, and don't want to do that. All right, so I always got to try to end things a little bit light. And I'm a big fan of the rapid fire questions.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to throw out a couple rapid fire questions for you. And first answer that pops into your head. Okay, so I know you and I've talked in the past about all the different instruments. I know in sumo you primarily play the dingwalls, if not exclusively the dingwall.
Yeah.
So fan fret, standard fret.
Ooh.
Flash answer.
Yeah, multi-scale.
Multi-scale.
Yeah.
That's your home. That's where you live.
Yeah. Now, for the last almost 5 years now.
All right. Fretted or fretless?
Fretless.
Fretless. All right. Passive or active?
Oh, passive.
Okay.
All day, every day.
Why? Especially in today's world, so many bass players are, kind of almost exclusively active. What is it about passive bass for you that's like, yep, that's my sound?
It's a mix between a very specific Dingwall answer, and then just a preference answer.
Okay.
The very specific Dingwall answer is, if anyone has ever tried the Super Fatty 2s, that's the end of it. That's the end of the discussion. Sheldon Dingwall is an alchemist. I don't know what he does. The Super Fatty 2s, once I discovered those, I was just like, oh my God, put them in every single one of it. And that's been my go-to now for all of them. On the preference side, the few active instruments that I've had over the last 35, almost 40 years, I'm just not into it. I will say this, the Trickfish preamp that they made is like one of the most
transparent,
oh my God, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
If I were to go active, I would want to do that, or the Neve preamp that Sheldon has,
and the John Taylors,
which is another one that was just like, it's a whole other animal, but it's very specific.
Yeah.
So for me, even outside of that, I mean, I've had active EMG basses way back in the day. Not a fan.
Okay.
Just not a fan. There's something about that that like raw nerve, brand new string overtone that I'm just not a fan of. So it's just a preference.
Just a preference.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't have to deal with batteries and other nonsense.
Yeah, one less thing to worry about. So, all right, last one.
Oh.
Because of the context in a lot of sumo songs, are aliens real?
I mean, I'm here, right?
All right, there you go. That's the only answer you guys need. Hey, listen, again, get yourself your very own more. This one is not going to be yours. This is Amado's.
That's mine.
And Amado, brother, thank you very much.
Thanks,
man.
dude.
Thank you
Thanks
very
for
much.
having me.
Stone from Seamoon Effects, Amado from Sumo. Thank you guys very much. Enjoy, be safe, and go practice.
Yeah.